This voiceover was generated using text-to-speech technology. Thank you for watching and supporting. Hi, this is Marmelado. In the previous video, I said that I was skipping Season 27 because the developers weren't fixing the cheater problem in the game enough. But I decided to return to Apex in Season 28 because I wanted to look into something and understand it better. There was one thought that bothered me for a long time. But before I talk about it, I want to explain what kind of game this is. This was my last match in Platinum before I get Diamond. Here's a clip from the end. I'll just move it here. I started in the first split and got Diamond completely in solo queue in 2 weeks. In this video, I am going to talk about one of the fundamental things I have come to understand over time. This was also helped by the return of the dropship. For those who don't know, in Season 26, the developers introduced an ALGS-style drop system in Ranked which significantly changed the Battle Royale format. In Season 28, they decided to bring back the old dropship because not all players like the drop zones. Though, honestly, these changes helped me realize how complicated and multi-dimensional Apex is. If it weren't for these changes, this video wouldn't have been published. So look. In Apex, people are divided into 2 groups. The first group, these are the active players who are always fighting. They do hot drops, push nonstop, look for other squads, and so on. They also include masters and predators. The second group, these are passive players who prefer to play zones and keep their distance from enemies. They can't brag about many kills, they just prefer to earn ranked points. Let's keep talking. I have a question for you. Which of these groups has the advantage? Tell me, who has more of an advantage? I bet you guys already know what I'm talking about. This is the fundamental problem with Ranked, because their players have different playstyles. Active players will always have the advantage because when you have a lot of adrenaline, you play better. It's a well-known fact. The problem is that Apex requires every player to be active, which passive players can't afford. This game is just made for dynamic gameplay, and sadly many players don't get that. The second problem is that the ranked system allows this, because there, you can earn ranked points for kills or placement. This is why you will find both low-skill and high-skill players in the Platinum and Diamond lobbies. Even if they are the same rank, it does not mean they are equally good. In Apex, rank ain't the same as skill, you feel me? Because some players fight and get ranked points, and some players avoid fights and still earn ranked points because they play for placement. It is like we have 2 separate ranked in the same lobby with players having 2 different playstyles. But I think this game is unfair because every player should play on equal terms. What I mean is when you're an active player but your teammates are passive, it leads to conflict between you and ruins the game for you. It also lowers your advantage, especially when you are playing solo queue and there are a lot of duo or 3 stacks in your lobby. By the way, pre-made teams will always fight actively because they know there are solo queue players in the lobby. They just know they have the advantage. That is unfair too. That was on me, I should have switched to Volt earlier. Hemlock just is not great for close range. I'm glad my teammates played it smart and used my portal. A lot of players usually just sit back and watch. Happens even in Platinum or Diamond. That is a perfect example of the difference between active and passive players. Because active players try to solve problems and find ways out of them. Nothing is better than when your teammates finally do something. At least that is all I wanted to share. This is just my analysis of how the ranked works. Also, Season 29 starts in like 2 weeks. I hope the devs make enough changes to the ranked. As for me, I have always been somewhere in between an active and a passive playstyle. That does not mean I only avoided fights sometimes. I did not avoid them at all. I just thought every player should play by the rules of the ranked. I mean playing for placement and taking fights when possible. In other words, just playing smart, because dying early is kinda dumb, right? Also, not getting kills when you can is kinda dumb too, right? Hope you all understand what I am saying. I have always played like this until Season 28. But when Season 28 started and the dropship came back, I decided to play fully active. I needed to do this to understand some things in the game and turn it into content for this video. Of course, I was dying a hell of a lot and losing tons of ranked points. But as you can see the result, I got Diamond. But there are two sides to the coin. The difficulty of getting Diamond also depends on when you play. This is information I have. No, this is not a morning game where matchmaking expands to lower ranks just to fill the lobby. I usually played in the evening after work. Maybe in a future video, I will share my secret to getting Diamond. For now, just enjoy my video. See you.